Directed by Christopher Nolan, Interstellar is a fantastic tale of time, space, and love. But if you got a bit lost in the final act of the film, we wouldn't blame you. So let's do our best to walk through the bizarre, mind-bending ending of Interstellar. Life on Earth isn't great in Interstellar. Massive dust storms are tearing up the planet, crops are failing, and soon humanity will cease to exist. Looking for answers, NASA turns to the skies, hoping for some kind of insight. As we learn at the beginning of the film, a group of 12 scientists traveled through a mysterious wormhole that appeared near Saturn to see if the 12 planets on the other side could sustain human life. A few years later, the Endurance and its crew, including Matthew McConaughey's Cooper and Anne Hathaway's Brand, are going to visit the 3 most promising planets in the hopes of colonizing one. When they arrive on Dr. Mann's planet, the heroic scientist assures them this icy cold spot is the perfect place for humans to live.
Our world is cold, stark, but undeniably beautiful.
Unfortunately, it's soon all revealed to be a ruse. Although each of the original 12 scientists knew their trip was one way, Mann admits he never fully considered the possibility that his planet would be uninhabitable and that he might die alone. Although he resisted the urge for years, he eventually falsified his survey data to coax another team to travel to his planet, intending to use the Endurance to escape. At this point, Mann is so desperate to leave that he'll do anything, even kill. Paranoid that the Endurance crew won't go along with his plan once they learn what he's done, Mann attempts to kill Cooper so he can make his getaway. Back on Earth, Cooper's now-grown children find themselves at odds. His daughter, Murph, played by Jessica Chastain, has realized the surface of our planet has become uninhabitable. So naturally, she's trying to persuade her brother Tom to bring his family to the secret NASA facility where she's been working on the gravitational equation that would allow humanity to escape into space en masse. But despite Murph's warnings, Tom refuses to abandon the farmhouse where they grew up. After Cooper left them in their grandfather's care when they were children, never to be heard from again, Tom lost all faith in NASA's ability to help them.
Dad didn't raise you to be this dumb, Tom.
Dad didn't raise me. Grandpa did, and he's buried out back with Mom and Jesse.
Convinced her brother is making a terrible mistake, Murph sets fire to Tom's cornfields, knowing that since Tom relies on his crops for survival, he'll be forced to drive out to try to extinguish the blaze. That buys Murph enough time to return to the house and evacuate Tom's wife and son, likely in the hopes that once Tom realizes his family has gone to the NASA facility, he'll have no choice but to join them. Hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. Without enough fuel to either return to Earth or travel to the 3rd potentially habitable planet, Cooper proposes to use the gravity of the black hole Gargantua to execute a slingshot maneuver, which would send the Endurance off with enough inertia to reach the planet Dr. Edmunds would send to assess. However, every time the Endurance crew approaches the black hole, its gravitational field distorts their perception of time due to relativity, meaning what they experience is only minutes, passes as years for anyone outside Gargantua's gravity.
Every hour we spend on that planet will be 7 years back on Earth.
By executing Cooper's slingshot maneuver, he and Brand will experience time slippage of 51 years. They both realize this means Cooper will have to give up hope of ever seeing his children back on Earth, as they will likely have died of old age by the time the Endurance exits Gargantua's gravity. Still, Cooper knows that his plan is humanity's last chance for survival. Adding even more drama to Cooper's decision is Mann's earlier speech about the moment humans experience before death. According to Mann, as our brains grasp at survival, we'll experience a vision of the thing we most desire to see again. Mann speculates that Cooper's final image will be of his children, since they're his reason for living.
At the moment of death, your mind's gonna push a little bit harder to survive. For them.
By giving up hopes of seeing his children again, Cooper is prioritizing the future of humanity over his own motivations for survival. With its depleted fuel supplies, Endurance must decrease its weight to pull free of Gargantua's gravity after completing Cooper's slingshot maneuver. Before beginning the maneuver, Cooper decides the shuttle holding TARS will detach and drop into the black hole. In addition to relieving the endurance of the shuttle's weight, Cooper hopes that TARS can collect the quantum data from inside the singularity that NASA scientists on Earth need to complete the gravitational equation that will allow humanity to leave. While odds are slim that TARS will be able to transmit this data back to Earth, Cooper is determined to at least try, since it's his children's last hope of survival. However, Cooper doesn't tell Brand that losing TARS' shuttle won't account for a big enough drop in weight. In fact, an additional shuttle has to detach in order for the Endurance to escape. Cooper decides that he should bite the proverbial bullet, leaving Brand to continue on to Edmunds' planet and restart the human race. He doesn't tell Brand until the last moment because he knows she would argue with his decision. But even without the possibility of seeing his children again, Cooper is at peace with his probable death. After falling into the black hole, Cooper continues to record what he's seeing and transmits it back to TARS, hoping the additional data might help scientists back on Earth. Although he expects to eventually get crushed by Gargantua's gravity, Cooper is miraculously spared once his shuttle is ripped apart. And that's when things get crazy. After surviving the wild ride, Cooper gets transported to an infinite, interdimensional library that allows him to look back into different moments in his daughter's childhood bedroom, including the day he left for his mission on the Endurance.
If you're leaving, just go.
No, don't go. Don't go, you idiot.
TARS determines that they made it through Gargantua alive because they were protected by them, the mysterious beings who constructed the wormhole in the first place. Since the beginning of the film, who they are has been a mystery. While NASA realized the wormhole was artificially constructed by some sort of advanced, intelligent beings, they didn't have any information about them beyond the assumption that they must be benevolent. TARS deduces they also must have built this library to help Cooper understand their five-dimensional reality. And sure, it's confusing, but it's also nice to have otherworldly beings on your side. Although the library where they bring Cooper seems to go on forever, every part of this room serves as a window into the exact same place, his daughter Murph's childhood bedroom. At first, Cooper seems to think he's been brought to her because of his own desire to see her again. But TARS helps him understand they have constructed this three-dimensional reality for Cooper, allowing him to access all five dimensions in a way he can understand.
Why do they want to help us, huh?
I don't know, but they constructed this three-dimensional space inside their five-dimensional reality to allow you to understand it.
Together, TARS and Cooper figure out that through the library, Cooper is able to physically influence different points in space-time by using gravity to move things, as time and gravity are the fourth and fifth dimensions that exist in their reality. But what's the point of all this? Cooper deduces that he's been brought here to send a message back through time, using gravity, and that Murph has to be the one to receive it. Cooper realizes that while he thought they were fixated on him, he's not actually the one who's most important to saving humanity. Murph is. The library exists to ensure that Cooper will be able to deliver his daughter the information she needs right when she needs it. After Cooper finds himself stuck in the library, he realizes he's supposed to pass along the quantum data that TARS collected from inside Gargantua. The information the robot gathered from inside the black hole will help Murph save mankind. And Cooper is the interdimensional messenger, selected by the same mysterious forces that constructed this library and created the wormhole near Saturn.
But something sent you here. They chose you. Well, who's they?
And once Cooper understands his new purpose, he realizes the creatures who've been assisting humanity aren't extraterrestrial at all.
They didn't bring us here at all. We brought ourselves.
As it turns out, at some point in the future, humanity will advance to a place where we can navigate through all five dimensions. It's these future humans who used gravity to create the wormhole that allowed NASA to send scientists to explore the 12 planets in the first place. These future humans are also the ones who protected Cooper from the effects of Gargantua. Just as Cooper is able to use the library to influence events that, for him, already happened, the humans of the future have been using their understanding of time and gravity to ensure their own survival by assisting Cooper, Murph, NASA, and the other humans of their past. After realizing why the library exists and that they want Cooper to give Murph the quantum data she needs to save the world, TARS asks how Cooper plans to communicate such complex information from another dimension.
Love, TARS, love. It's just like Brand said. My connection with Murph, it is quantifiable. It's the key.
The robot doesn't understand, but Cooper explains that he can trust his love for his daughter to guide him to exactly where he needs to be. As Brand explained earlier in the film, love is the only thing that transcends all dimensions, including time and space. Cooper decides to code the quantum data into the second hand of the watch he gave Murph before he left, assuring TARS that she will one day return for it. When TARS asks how Cooper can be sure, he responds,
Because I gave it to her.
He's confident that her love for him will lead her to where she needs to go, just as his love led him back to her. Sure enough, as all this is happening, the adult Murph has indeed returned to her childhood bedroom, drawn by an unseen force. She suddenly understands the ghost from earlier in the film. The entity trying to contact her with dust patterns on her bedroom floor was actually her father. Reminded of her love for him, she finds the watch, and voila! Things are suddenly starting to look up for humanity. With the planet dying, humans have to evacuate the place fast. But to solve the gravitational equation that allows humanity to escape from the tethers of Earth, you need quantum data gathered from inside a black hole.
The equation couldn't reconcile relativity with quantum mechanics. You need more.
More what?
More data. You need to see into a black hole.
Thinking that collecting such data is impossible, Murph believes the people of Earth are doomed, and that her father has abandoned her. However, once she realizes that Cooper was her childhood ghost, and that he's given her the data she needs through the watch, she's able to solve the equation, ensuring humanity's survival. Once Cooper passes along the quantum data, the library tesseract begins to collapse, having served its purpose. Cooper loses consciousness, and he later wakes up on a space habitat orbiting Saturn. Just as they brought Cooper to a library and allowed him to communicate with his daughter and save humanity, they also brought him back to safety once he was finished with his mission. Only instead of Earth, he's now on a gigantic colony floating through space. Thanks to Murph's calculations and the data acquired from the black hole, humans were finally able to leave Earth en masse. And now they're spread out over several different space habitats. And it's all thanks to those mysterious forces who helped Cooper in the library and made sure people would find him once it was time for the library to close. Due to the time slippage that Brand warned about before executing the slingshot maneuver around Gargantua, at least 51 years have passed for the people of Earth, but it's only been hours for Cooper. By the time he makes it to the space habitat known as Cooper Station, his daughter, Murph, whom he last saw as a little girl, is an old woman on the verge of death. On the flip side, Cooper appears to be about the same age as he was when he left. While Cooper is overjoyed to finally be reunited with his daughter, Murph knows that she won't live much longer and tells him that he should go so that he doesn't have to watch her die.
No parent should have to watch their own child die.
Cooper takes his daughter's advice and steals a ship, intending to head back through the wormhole and join Brand on Edmunds' planet. Like Cooper, she would have only recently arrived, and she'll soon be entering hypersleep, keeping her the same age until he reaches her. Sadly, Edmunds himself has died at some point during the decades he spent waiting for NASA to send a team to his planet. But as Brand takes off her helmet and breathes in the air of her new home at his gravesite, it's evident this is the planet the astronauts have been searching for, where humanity can rebuild and eventually thrive again. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.